Messiah Gedoylo Moshe Kodesh Baruch Hu Es Yisrael. What a find, great find that God found, that the Holy One, blessed be He, found Es Yisrael. The Jewish people were a find. Never, and they bring the pasuk from Hosea. Ka'anovim Bamidbar Matzasi Yisrael. Like one who finds grapes in the desert, I found Israel. And that's the meaning of Yimtza'ehu Be'eretz Midbar. That's a pasuk in Dvarim in Deuteronomy. But what does this mean, a find in the desert? So the Midrash comes, and let's listen to this carefully. Midbar haya ha'olam. The world was a desert before Atzilo Yasu Yisrael min Mitzrayim. The whole world was a different kind of world. It was like a desert, not a cultivated land. Before the Jews left Egypt, that experience that the Jews had to undergo in Egypt and have that glorious exodus from Egypt that changed the world from a desert to a cultivated land. Midbar haya ha'olam ad shelo yatzu Yisrael miMitzrayim. The world was a desert until the Jews exited Egypt. Uviso Yilel Yishimon. Tohu v'layla haya olam. It was desolate and dark. Hey, we weren't around 3,500 years ago, but the world wasn't. It was a jungle, a desert. And until the Jews were formed, the peoplehood of the Jews were formed, and they went out of Egypt. And the Midrash adds something. It's not just the going out of Egypt, but it was a desolate desert until Atzilo Yatzu Yisrael miMitzrayim va'atzilo kivu et haTorah. Law and order. The world was desolate. It was man eat man. There wasn't law. But God gave the Torah, and that established law and order in the world. Yes, God gave the 7 Noahide laws to Adam and then to Noah, but it wasn't the way of the whole world at all. For individuals, it was till that. But that the world should become an orderly world that recognized the Creator. That happened when the Creator took the Jews out of Egypt. Nobody could leave Egypt. Egypt was a superpower, and it enslaved people, and it was a cruel, barbaric country. But all that changed when God took the Jews out of Egypt and gave them a Torah, the Torah. And in the Torah, God gives Moshe the 7 Noahide laws that applies to all humanity. And the humanity who lives by the Torah, because these 7 laws, they keep them not because they make sense to them. It just says it, no, because they are God given. And the Sheva Mitzvahs B'nai Noach, Mitzvahs means a command which suggests a relationship between commander and commandee. And so God actually introduces himself to the world with these 2 things, the way he took the Jews out of Egypt, split the sea, and gave the Torah. And that's why these are so such powerful saga in Jewish life, Jewish history. The Yetzias Mitzrayim, which the people saw, and Kabbalah Torah, which the people heard. I am God, your God. And again, this is an important statement. The Midrash is telling us that the Jewish people were refined. They were predisposed to this by virtue of their patriarchs and matriarchs who came to the understanding and the encountering of Creator. Now it became for a whole 3 million a nation. And where did this happen? In the Midbar. And the Midrash takes this pasuk, which is in Deuteronomy, Yimtza'eu be'eretz Midbar. The Jews were a find that got found in the desert. That means after he marched them into the desert. And in this wild desert, he made an air-conditioned with air conditioning and water following them, and clouds encompassing them on 7 levels. And again, now he brings this pasuk from Hosea, Ka'anavim Bamidbar Matzasi Yisrael. This people like in the desert who's thirsting for water and grapes, and he sucks the juice of the grapes. And then, so here's this powerful statement that the Midrash makes. Midbar haya ha'olam. The world was a desert. Ad shelo yatzu Yisrael miMitzrayim, until Egypt, Jews went out of Mitzrayim. Ubesolo Yishimon. There was a tohu. It was chaos and night. Haya olam ad shelo yatzu Yisrael. ממצרים, ועד שלא קיבלו את התורה. Kabbalah Torah settled, gave the world structure and purpose and order. That's what we're being told. The Midrash is describing what was the world like then. It was a desert till the Jews left Egypt and received the Torah. And God describes this and the Midrash says where? Mahu Aimer, what does it say in Dvorim? Yisov Benhu, Yevonanehu. He surrounded them and gave them understanding. Yisov Benhu, he keep on Ba'anane Kavod. He encircled them. And this is, the divine showing himself. Showing himself by his deeds. He encloses them with his silver venom, means he surrounds them. Banane covered with the clouds of glory. And Yevonaneu, he gave him understanding. Shehevinam b'divrei Torah. Gave them understanding with the words of Torah. So this was a world-changing happening. The going out of Egypt, the giving of the Torah, which we will be celebrating next Monday and Tuesday, Shavuos, the holiday of the giving of the Torah. And he goes on to say that Yitzrenu, he preserved them like the pupil of his eye. Ashrei ha'aznayim sheshamu ad heichon shivavan. Oh, wondrous, happy are the ears that heard how God showed his love for them. We guarded them. Ad Heichan Shomram. How much he guarded them. Hey, there's a difference of opinion in the in the Midrash. I think we'll learn it later, but it's in the Gemara too. How many clouds surrounded them? So there's one opinion that there were 7 clouds, the 4 directions. If people fired ballistics into the Jewish camp, it bounced right off the clouds. Hey, you have a burning heat from on top. There was a cloud covering the whole camp, air conditioning cloud. Hey, the desert has cactus and all kinds of sticky stuff. Not a problem. There was a cloud and they walked on the clouds, literally. Okay, so we got 6 clouds. And there was a cloud that went in front of them to straighten out the paths that they could walk straight and not have to climb, not have to go low, not have to go high. Straight. The uh, the cloud busted through all the things that stood in their way, and they made the journey difficult. The cloud straightened it out, so that there was seven clouds, and that's the prevailing opinion. And the clouds were the virtue, by virtue and the merit of Aaron. And what did God feed the Jews? The manna. They had food coming down from heaven. And that was from the merit of Moshe. And they had ice cold refrigerated water from a brook that was following them. And that was in the merit of Miriam. And this for 40 years. This all stopped when they went into Israel. But in the desert, there was a fine the way what God turned the desert into for the people. It's not a fairy tale. I suppose it could be, it would be. I don't know if it has been, but I know that it would make a beautiful film to show how the Jews lived. Sure, it could be produced how the Jews lived in the desert with the clouds, the manna, the water, and the protection they had. Hey, they lived a good life. And we find moments when they complain, but they're castigated by all of their complaints because it's really they lived a glorious life within the air conditioned clouds, the no cactus to walk on, no heat to give them heat waves, sunburn, or they had the clouds protecting them from above and from the rain and from anything that was coming down, except the manna came right through the clouds. So, and their clothes grew along with them. Went out, and as a little kid with your little kid's clothes, they grew along with you. And there was, from the clouds, secreted a liquid that cleaned your garments. Everything you needed. And what did you spend their time doing? Learning Torah. That God was teaching you during those 40 years. So again, now Ashrei ha'aznaim sheshamu ad heichan chivavon. Oh, one just hearing about this, how the Jews were beloved. Ad heichan shamram, to what level they were guarded, watched, preserved. Ad heichan notzran kaviyachol. Ad ki'ishan eno. God guarded the Jewish people like a person guards his too full of his eyeball. Why he guards his eye shouldn't in any way be hurt. People protect their eyes in storms and all kinds of climate situations and from all kinds of illicit sites. That's called Shmiras Einayim. That's the thing that a Jew has to do with himself. But here, God, in the whole encampment that they lived within the clouds and receiving food from heaven and water following them. Shama Elokim Moshe. How did God keep the Jewish people? What did He give them? Beside all this, that the physical nourishment, Shama Elokim Moshe. God communicated with their leader and told him what he should do, what's going to happen, and Moshe was Ish Elokim, a man of God, born to a father and a mother. You know, I'm in Yocheved, but he was a man of God, and he saw most. He's the one who was the closest to realizing the godly presence. The Jews, hey, they this coming, Monday is a occasion of the reading of the 10 statements, and they what they heard from God, the first two statements: I am God, your God, who took you out of the land of Egypt, house of bondage. You should have no other gods before me. That they heard, and in every word they died, and they had to be revived. And they told Moshe, okay, we can take these two statements, but if we're going to hear any more straight from God, and this dying is going to happen in every word, I don't know if we're going to survive. So Moshe, you talk to us, please, and God will amplify your voice, and we'll hear. You made your point. There's a God. You know, we've heard God, and we'll be faithful. And this is one that God told Moshe. Sha'amar Elohim, God spoke to Moshe and said, Moshe, called him by his first name. Moshe, Emor Lohem Sheyashu Mishkan Beinehem. Moshe, I'm telling you, they should make a tabernacle, a sanctuary. Ani Meniach Esel Yonim. Look, let them make me this tabernacle. I will leave the upper world. Hey, I will leave my imminent presence. God will never take away his presence from the upper world, but his essence presence. God tells Moshe, I'm leaving the upper world. I'll leave them alone, I'm not going to concentrate on them. I will give them their life and what they need to exist. But v'yored v'shochein b'neihem. Tell the Jewish people that they should make a sanctuary for me, and I will dwell in that sanctuary. They'll be able to feel the dynamics of my presence, which even the upper worlds couldn't feel. Below Ella she'asa osam the golim lishmo. And not only should they make a tabernacle, sanctuary, and we know exactly what the sanctuary looked like. It's any good chumash has the diagrams and drawings of the Mishkan, and that's where the Jews prayed and went and brought their offerings on the altar there in the Mishkan. So, Ela she'asa osam the golem lishmo. He got them to make the golim, the degel is a flag. The golim, many flags. They had 10, 12 different flags for each tribe. And the Levim lived around the Mishkan. Od Ela she'asa osam the golim lishmo. He made them make flags for God. This is a command. Amar Kodesh Baruch Hu Moshe. God, the Holy One, blessed be He, said to Moshe, Asher Osam the Golim Lishmi, Asher Osam the Golim Lishmi, Lama. Why should they make flags for me? Lama, why? Shehem Bonai. They're my children. They're my sons. Shnema Bonim Atem LaHashem Elokechem. That's a statement that God makes. You are sons, Bonim, children. Atem LaHashem Elokechem, to God your God. That means so quality. God had no physical sons. And God says, I'm the first and I'm the last. I'm the first, I have no father. I'm the last, I have no sons. That's physical sons. But it's soul sons. Bonim atem Hashem Elokechem. You are children of God, your God. Ve'hem shivosai, and they are my legions, my army, the Jewish people. V'chein hu omer, v'hotzei es shivosai. I am going to take out my legions, my people, my army, as Ami. Who are my legions? Ami, my people, Bnei Yisrael, Me'eretz Mitzrayim. That is, I'm going to take them out of Egypt. And that's when the world became civilized, cultured, monotheist. This was the monotheistic nation. וכן הוא אומר, דגל מחנה יהודה כמנה לצבוסם. And לפי שהן צבוסי, since they are my legions, my army, Asa Osam Degolim Lishmi, they should make flags for me. Who deceive? This is what it says. Ishal Diglo. Every man to his flag. So they had, I wonder why it doesn't exist, a film depiction of how the Jews, seems to me, would be, with the modern technology, they could reproduce and make, just graphically show what this looked like, the flags, the Mishkan, this, and but it is drawn and pictured, and there are a lot of, there are chumashim that have the drawings. So, and it says, they had each man by his banner according to the insignias of their father's household. So the Midrash says, Siman haya l'chol nasi v'nasi. Every chief of a tribe had his sign. Mapa, in the form of a flag and a color. I'll call Mapa or Mapa בצבע של אבנים טובות שהיו על ליבו של אהרון. The color of each flag. So there were the 12 names on the 12 stones of the breastplate. And each stone had a different color. And each stone had the name of the, the tribe. And that color was his flag and where he was stationed in the camp. Again, I'll call Mapa Umapa, and every Mapa is a sheet, a flag. Shel Avonim Tovo Shahayu Al Libo Shel Aaron. The same color that was on the jewel in the breastplate of Aaron, of the Kohen Gadol. Each and every flag contained a color, like his color of the precious stones that were worn upon the heart of Aaron. Mehem lomda hamalchus osin mapa b'tzeva l'chol mapa. And from them, from the way the Jews made a system of flags, that was the first system of flags and colors. And from them, kingdoms learned the concept of making flags and a color for each and every flag. So when the nations copied Israel through divine command, came up with the first uh, uh, flags to show where they're going to be camping, or you could say in which section they're going to be living. That the nations wanted, they came and they used the flags and colors, and going to go on to say what was also drawn on the flag. Again, Mehem Lomdo Hamalchus, from the Jews. The nations learned Lios Osim Mappa B'Tzeba L'chol Mappa, and to make different colored flags to section off the neighborhoods and to make partitions, uh, and the Jews were the first, and to them it was a divine command. To the nations it was a practical thing. And from them, kingdoms learned the concept of making flags and a color for each and every flag. Kol Shevet v'Shevet, every tribe, Nasi, Shelo, Tseva, Mapa, Shelo, Domer, L'Tseva, Shel, Avno. Okay, the color was like the same of the color of the flag of the leader of each and every tribe was similar to the color of the tribe's stone on the Goshen. Now the Midrash is going to identify the stone and the color of the flag of each of the tribes. Reuben, Reuben, the firstborn of Yaakov. Avno, Odem. The tribe of Reuben, his stone was Odem, and it's red, and his flag was dyed red, like the color of Odem. Umetsur alav dodaim, and upon this flag, Judoim were depicted. What's so he says here? It was in praise of Reuben that his flag had Judoim depicted on it. Why? First, in bringing Leah the Judoim, Reuben brought his mother Leah the Judoim. They were that was a plant, Judaim, and that's a picture that on Reuben's flag. And if you remember in the story in the Chumash, Reuben demonstrated kibbut aim, honor to his mother when he brought her these Judaim, these fertility plants. And in addition, Reuben was careful in bringing Judah that were ownerless. He didn't take from anybody's garden. It grew in the wild. And the commentary says, "In this he differed from the manner of Esau, who took whatever he found, and didn't matter that it was somebody's garden." Okay, so we're going down what was, so we got, again, Reuben, Abno, Edom. His stone in the breastplate was red. Umapa Shalo, Savua, Edom. His flag was a red flag. And it had, what picture drawing did it have? Umusur Dudaim. And upon his flag, Dudaim, the fertility plants were depicted. Hey, it was a work of art. Somebody had to draw that. Weave it in. Shimon Pitada, the tribe of Shimon, his stone was Pitida, and his flag was dyed green, like the color of Pitida. Umatsur Alav, and upon his flag, the city of Shem was depicted. Levi Berekes, Umapa Shelo Tzavua, Shalosh Lavan, Shlish Lavan, Shlish Shachar, Shlish Adam. The tribe of Levi, his stone was Berekes, and his flag was dyed 1/3 white, 1/3 black, and 1/3 red, like the color of Berekes. That's Umatsur love, what was depicted, what was drawn on the flag of Levi, Urim Bitumim, and upon his flag, the Urim Bitumim was depicted. You know what Urim and Tumim was? The Urim Bitumim in the breastplate. It was folded, the breastplate, and the it was inserted. The tribe of Levi, his stone was Berekes, and his flag was dyed 1/3 white, 1/3 black, and 1/3 red, like the color of Berekes. Umutsur alav. Now Levi had, because Aaron was from the tribe of Levi, and he had the breastplate with the 12 stones, and upon the flag, the Urim and Tumim was depicted. Now, what was the Urim and Tumim? That was the name of God written on parchment. The Urim Tumim, literally lights and perfections, was a parchment on which a sacred name of God was written. It was inserted between the folds of the choshen, of the breastplate worn by the Kohen Gadol, who was from the tribe of Levi, and that's why this was depicted on that's the outstanding feature of the tribe of Levi, the communication with God, which is in the name of God written on a parchment that was inserted in the folds of the choshen. On the outer fold was the 12 stones, and inside, it hung by a gold uh, chain, and when a question of national import arose, it would be presented to the Kohen Gadol, who would concentrate on the name. The name of God is Kabbalistic, and God has and different names and the way they're put together with the Yud Kei Vav Kei. Letters that were engraved on the stones of the choshen would then light up for the king, who would be the one to ask the question, and he would understand the answers to the question. His predictions would always come perfectly true. So that's Urim and Tumim. The way that this was only in the first temple. In the second temple, they didn't have it. And they had it also, and it was one of the big day Kuna and the Mishkan. Okay, so we got what? So the breastplate, the Urim and Tumim, the parchment, uh, uh, probably with the breastplate and how it fits into the breastplate. That was the picture on the flag of Levi, which was in three colors. They had a red flag and a green flag, and Levi has a three-colored flag. Uh, Now Yehuda, Nofech, the tribe of Judah, his stone was Nofech. Cannot tell you exactly what Nofech is, but it's a jewel. And the color of his flag, Judah's flag, was blue, like the sky, like the color of the Nofech stone. And what do you think was depicted, drawn on the flag, the blue flag of Judah? Of Aryeh, and upon his flag, Judah, a lion was depicted because Jacob's blessing to Judah, what he would be a lion. I mean, he'd be the king of the. He would be he would be like a lion, and it would find it in the prophecy saying of how Yaakov blessed his sons, and that's what they're called. That's the pictures they're giving on the uh, on the flags that have the same color as the stone on the breastplate. Now, Yisachar, Sapir, Umape Shelo Tzavua Shochor, Domele Kechol, the east was Sapir, and his flag was dyed semi-black, similar to Kachol, which is the color of sapphire. And what was depicted on Issachar's flag? Material love, Shemesh, V'Yoreach, Al Shem Uvibnei Sachar Yoide Bina Leitim. And upon his flag, the sun and moon were depicted. Got to have a good artist to depict the sun and the moon. Why is that depicted on his flag? Based upon that which it states of the children of Issachar, men with understanding for the times. They were the great scholars, and they would declare when the leap years would be. Zvulun, Yahalom. His stone was Yahalom. What's the color of Yahalom? Levana. The tribe of Zebulun, his stone was Yahalom, and the color of his flag was white, like the color of Yahalom. Umature Alav, and guess what the picture on Zebulun's? You know the prophecy that the father gave him, what Zebulun and Yisachar had a partnership, and what was Zebulun's work? Umature Alav Sfina, and upon his flag a ship was depicted, based upon that which it states in Jacob's blessing to Zebulun. Zebulun shall settle by seashores, and he'll go out and do his business on the seas, and give half of his profits to Issachar. So and there was they were partners in what he made, and he was partners in his learning. Okay, John Leshem and Dan. Leshem, the stone is Leshem. The Tseva Mapa Shelo Dome Sapir, the tribe of Dan, his stone was Leshem, and the color of his flag was semi-black, similar to Sapir, which is also the color of Leshem. Same colors. Umatura Love, what did he have on his flag? Okay. Nachash, a snake. Hey, done Nachash. Like his father said, done to be like a snake and biting. He'll be uh, a tribe that uh, defends Jewish people. Okay. And but Dan will be a serpent on the highway. And Naphtali, Shvo. Naphtali's stone was Shvo. B'tzeva mapa shelo, lo lavon, v'lo shachar, ela me'urav shachar. Um, the tribe of Naphtali, his stone was Shvo, and the color of the flag was neither white nor black, but rather a combination of black and white, like the color of Shvo. And what was the picture on Naphtali's flag? And upon his flag, a hind was depicted based on what it says in Jacob's blessing to Naphtali. Naphtali is a hind let loose. No, what is this? A hind is a certain kind of bird.
Right? Like a deer?
There's for various ways that the hind may represent a praise of Naphtali. So what is the hind? Is a deer? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. That was on his flag. Okay. God. We're up to God. Achalama. His stone was the Achalama. The Tzva Mapa Shelo, the color of his flag, Doma Leyayin Solo, She'ein Admuso Azah. The tribe of God, of G-A-D, God, his stone was Achaloma, and the color of his flag was similar to the color of clear wine, whose redness is not so pronounced like the color of a plum. So it was the red color of the flag. Umetsuyer was drawn on it. Umetsuyer alav machne al shem God. Gedu Yigdenu. And upon his flag is a military camp. On his flag, a military camp was depicted based upon that which is states in Yaakov's blessings to God. God will recruit a regiment. Osher, what was in the tribe of Osher? Tarshish. Okay, his stone was Tarshish. The Tzva Mapishalo, and the color of his flag, Doma Even Yikara Shemikastos Bo Hanashim, the tribe of Usher, his stone was Tarshish, and the stone with which similar to the color of a precious stone with which women adorn themselves. A stone the color of the sea, like the Tarshish stone. Umetsuya, what was drawn on this flag, which was the color of the sea. An olive tree was depicted based upon that which it states in Jacob's blessing to Usher. From Usher, his bread will have richness, and he will provide kingly delicacies. Joseph, what did Joseph have? Shoham. His stone was Shoham, which saw Mapeshalo, but his flag color was Shachar Admiyod. The tribe of Joseph, which included the tribe of Ephraim and Manasseh, his stone was Shoham, and the color of his flag was exceedingly black, like the color of Shoham. Umetsuir Lishnei Nisim, Ephraim, Manasseh. Again, the Umatsur, what was drawn there, the Shnei Nisi'im, two princes, like Ephraim and Manasseh, Me'itzai al-Shem, Shehayu Toldosam B'Mitzrayim. They're Ephraim because they're having been born and raised in Egypt. The Almapa shel Ephraim, Hoya Mitsuya, short. But upon the flag of Ephraim there was depicted an ox. Okay, but upon the flag of Ephraim there was depicted an ox. Al Shem Bechor Sholo. Jacob said that your firstborn will be an ox, it means strength. Based upon that which states in Moshe's blessing to Joseph, a firstborn is ox. Zeh Yehoshua Shohaya Mishavet Ephraim. That refers to Joshua, who was strong like an ox. Mapa Shevet Manasseh, what was on? They had two flags, one for Ephraim, one for Manasseh. So, Mapa Shevet Manasseh Hoya Mitsuya Re'im. Well, upon the flag of Manasseh, a re'im was depicted, based upon which is stated, and the horns of a re'im are his horns. So that's a re'im is an animal with horns. And is referring to Gideon ben Joash, who descended from the tribe of Manasseh. Binyamin. Now we're up to Binyamin. Yoshba. His son was Yoshba. B'tzeva mapa shelo doma l'chol hashvatim. His Binyamin's mata, the tzeva of his flag was similar was to the colors of all the shvatim, all the 12. He had, there was a mix, 12 colors. The name Asar HaTzvoim, the 12 colors that were all the other ones' flags. And the color of his flag was similar to that of was a combination of the 12 flags. And Binyamin's on Binyamin's flag, okay, Binyamin's day, then when they look like but they, you know, they're people have names of animals. They wolf, tree is a deer. Um, me hold it. My wife. What time do we have?
It's about
Right at
8,
8:23.
8:23, yes.
Okay. Okay. So, this was an interesting Midrash, and the Midrash goes on to speak about on this world the Jews are likened to sand, sand. But in the next world, they're in the Olam Haba, they're likened to stars, and maybe we'll try to get a little of that next week. Next week is Shavuos. Is Shavuos is well, we have Shabbos coming up, and Sunday is Eretz Shavuos. Shavuos is Monday and Tuesday. So the custom is to be up the night of Shavuos, preparing to get the Torah. Maybe a little more awake than you are another night, because preparing for Torah. There's special books called Tikkun Leil Shavuos that gives little portions of every part of the whole Torah, and it would take a night to see it. But the person does the best they can, and the next day is reading of the Ten Commandments. So if you can get to a shul, get to a shul. But if you can't, read it yourself from your Chumash. Yeah, Sarah said, give us the whole parsha of the in Yisro, and read it and read the commentaries, and that is a perfectly legit way, and it's customary to eat dairy food. Yeah, and because they didn't know, we have two sudas. We have at Lubavitch house. We have one a delicious dairy suda with all kinds of delicacies, from kosher milk, and and then an hour later, or an hour and a half later, we eat a meat meal. This we make kiddush on, and we have make wine or grape juice, and Mizonos, and cheesecake. So anyway, but it should be a delicious holiday for all of us. A delicious Shabbos coming up, and it'll be and you have a very. We say the Kabbalah Satira B'Simcha U'B'Pnimius. That's the blessing that Lubavitch says one to another. You should receive the Torah with joy and inwardness. Let it penetrate you. That's what one wishes another. We should get the joy of being the Torah people. Like we're receiving the Torah, we're bringing it into ourselves. So let me wish you all a good Shabbos and a good Shavuos, happy Shavuos, and a Shavuos that penetrates us. Anybody want to say anything before we close?
Thank
I have
you.
to run to
I have a
Shavuos.
question for you, Rabbi.
Yeah.
I read somewhere that the word Anochi
Yeah.
is an acronym.
Ano Nafshik Shabbos Shabbos.
Ah,
What's the acronym? I gave myself in writing. Ano
okay. Would you say that again, please, slowly?
Huh? Okay. Ano I Nafshi gave my essence. Shabbos in writing. I gave it over. Ano Aleph Nun Aleph. That's the Aleph of Anochi. The Nun is Nafshi, my essence, Nefesh. The next letter is Chof, which means Shavis in writing. It means in the letters of the Torah. I gave it over. You want to have a revelation? Okay. Ano Nafshi Shavis Yahavis. I gave my essence over in writing. It's all written out in the Torah. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you.
Thank you. And that this is the one time the Torah was given, but God tells you you want to find me. Well, Anochi, I, and that Anochi has these four letters: Aleph, Nun, Chof, Yud, Ana, Nafshi, Shavis, Yavis. I gave my essence. In writing, I gave it over. Yavis is gave over. Shavis means in writing. Nafshi means my essence. And Ana means I. Okay. Have a very good Shabbos and a very happy and penetrating with Torah knowledge Shavuos.
You, Rabbi.
Okay.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
the share, Rabbi.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank
Keep
you.
going.
Yes.